All right, all right. Hey, Virgos, I promised you guys a little bonus today, and then we've got to get to some of their zodiacs. You guys will get a full-length video tomorrow, Virgos, just so you know, but this is just a little bonus. We started with the Five of Wands. That Five of Wands energy is, first off, this fella has got this jacket on that looks like a map of the world. So he's obviously thinking about where to go because everything's dried up. I don't know who this is, but it could be a fire sign, a Leo, Sag, or Aries. Tam Jan, so great to see you, beauty. We've got a Hierophant. We got the Two of Coins. Okay, I'm going to say it this way. Hi, guys. AC, Deep Blue Night Thoughts. I'm going to say it this way. By the way, we do have Taurus, and I will be getting to Taurus tonight. We may have a masculine who's run out of luck where they are. It's a dry riverbed. And they know it's time to go. Their third eye is open. They're looking at, like, where do I go from here? There is something with that Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles can be about balance or can be about juggling. Here, it's like I feel like they know there's a place where they'll really belong, a place where everything will mesh really, really well. I'm wondering if it feels like even if he can't move toward like Virgo right now, somebody already knows. I feel like Virgo's quite a distance away from him wherever he is right now. Virgo seems to be figuratively or geographically quite a ways away from where he's at, but he's understanding that something in his life he's ready to change. The fun has run out. The lifestyle is not what he wants anymore. He's aware there's a fundamental shift in what he believes about where he belongs. There's a fundamental shift. I don't know if this person has been actually watching Virgo, spying on Virgo, paying attention to Virgo, if Virgo has become more and more valuable, more and more important to him, and it's becoming so clear. Sometimes we know things inside here before they get up here, is what I feel like. You know, our heart knows something before our mind does, or our subconscious, or something like that. I feel like somebody is aware. They know where they belong, and they're going to end up in Virgo's world. They're going to bridge that gap. They're going to cross that border, and they're going to end up fused in Virgo's life, and vice versa. That is the way I look at this. Buenas noches, Carapi, for me. How are you, love? We've got Prince of Swords. He may be winding up thinking like of a plan where when the time comes, he's going to go for it. There is like this winding spiral staircase that goes to the door with the lock on it. Here again, we have a map, and the map shows like a road and possibly a body of water, although it's not a map that I'm familiar with. It doesn't look like it's one of our maps on this planet. Although I think I see part of Africa there, but the map is not laid out in the continental locations that it should be. That's actually kind of a cool concept. But anyway, we're not going to go too far down that road. I could say a lot about that, but I believe him holding the sword like a gigantic fountain pen. This could be somebody who's thinking, like, I'm going to suddenly write to Virgo. I'm going to suddenly reach out to Virgo. But I'm not saying that it's like, oh, the funds run out in this, whatever wild lifestyle I've been living, and now I'm bored and I'm ready to settle down. So now I think I'll see if I can claw my way back into Virgo's life. I'm not getting it as that vibe at all. I'm seeing somebody who's having, maybe I should say, a continental shift in their life. The fact that we have the map here, we have the map here, there is, I'm going to say, like a big geographical shift in this, we'll say, masculine's life, in the foundation of who they are, in what they want now, and what they're ready for. And it does feel like somebody who's going to be shifting and changing everything in their life. Let me ask about that Two of Coins card. We've got the Princess of Wands. So that would be the Page of Wands. That's the start of the next journey. That's the spark of the next exciting thing. It almost feels like this is somebody who, and I'm not saying they've been out roaming the world, hopping in everybody's bed, and now they're finally done and bored with that. Now they want to come back to Virgo's bed. I don't think that this is a roaming ex coming home. I do feel like this person has to know something about Virgo, though, to have known all this time that there's like somewhere deep inside of them that I feel like this Virgo that I met is coming to the forefront of my mind again and again, because I'm realizing this is the person I'm meant to be with. This spark has been lit, but I feel more like this is somebody who either hasn't yet like dated Virgo. Maybe they've been in a whole different energy. Maybe they met Virgo in passing and Virgo stayed on their mind. And now it's like, oh my God, this is the next adventure I want, an adventure of something very serious. I don't know if this person has been single for a really long time, and now they're like, I met this Virgo and they're making me think, fantasize even about slowing things down. If you see, we have like a kind of like a 10-mile-an-hour sign. This doesn't mean it's like Virgo is going to slow them down. It's almost like I want to slow down and take my time. She doesn't have clothes on. We see somebody feminine sitting here. We see her back. I almost feel like they want to slow down in romance and love. They want to slow down and actually, maybe if they've traveled a ton and they were gone all the time, now they're like, I would love to wake up late on a Sunday morning and not be rushing around all the time. I'd like to be with someone. I'd like to slow down, everything, loving somebody, the physical sense of love, the emotional sense of love. I'd like to be present. We've got this Six of Swords. I think that if they were busy running from things that had hurt them, I feel like they have had a significant amount of healing. I don't know what role has Virgo played in this, because there's some reason that they have felt differently about Virgo. We have the Lover's card. I said, what role has Virgo played? Virgo is their future, not their past. They've already dealt with other people in their past. They've dealt with people that they remember. We have 3 different women like in the catacombs of their mind, but you notice they're reaching out for something totally different now. They would choose somebody totally different. Virgo represents if they used to fall for like femme fatales or something, and I only say that because they kind of look like these, I don't know, I don't want to say something negative about them, but there could have been women who either really wanted to be with them, but also had like a certain persona. The femme fatale persona is, alluring and exciting perhaps, but just like it'd be hard to date James Bond, right? It'd be hard to date a femme fatale if what you're looking for is long-term anything, because it's more about the drama, the, excitement, but it's not very lasting. And I'm wondering if they knew romances like that in the past, and they're like, I'm looking for something stable and long-term. We know they want long-term. They see Virgo as the type they would marry, not as a femme fatale, not as a James Bond-esque. We've got the Princess of Swords in the reverse. They don't want anything that is too hard to, like, how do I say this? They're not looking for fleeting mysteries and spying and long distance and drama, like at all. There isn't anything about Virgo that comes across as unstable or, game playing. And I'm thinking that's where they're at in their life. They have healed at this point. So they're not playing. They don't want somebody who plays. They would choose somebody that they don't have to guess or look. I think they had transitional relationships in the past, things that they knew they were not going to be staying in. I think they chose that on purpose. It's not going to get too deep. It's not going to get too heavy. I'm not looking for somebody to marry, so I don't want to meet somebody that I would marry. And I feel like that's what they've had. And I feel like that is a tremendous shift in them now. I think they want somebody stable, kind, secure, somebody that they actually can bond to emotionally. Because this is like, I intend to stay forever. This is the marriage. This is the person I could sign a contract to and say, you I choose, you I stay with, you I want to be with every day. I do not think they were picking people like that before. They weren't ready to until now. And I think their whole lifestyle was, keep moving. Don't stay in one place too long. Don't connect to anybody. Don't pick somebody who's going to be somebody that would really, leave a mark across your heart. I think they avoided that. Virgo's different. Virgo's the one they would warmly choose. Now, a lot of this has to do with they're ready for this. But I will say, I think they already knew who Virgo was a long time ago. And it was like, I'm not even going to try to dance with Virgo. Not going to tango, they knew who Virgo was. And it was like, I'm not there yet. So I'm not going to mess with Virgo. I'm not going to play games with Virgo. I'm not going to date Virgo. I'm not coming near Virgo. But now that I'm stable, Virgo is the first person on my mind. And I think the reason Virgo is rising in their thoughts is because Virgo's the one. They already know this. It's weird how they've hit rock bottom and they've also climbed to the top of the mountain all at the same time. They're done with the other avoidance lifestyle. They've reached a point of, I want stability. In fact, I'm ravenous for it. In fact, I really am ready for something serious. And now I want to take swifter action. Two of Swords is here. This Two of Swords is a little more like a Two of Wands because Two of Swords can be what we block. But as you can see, there's two different pathways, two different doorways. And this is almost, somebody who's blocking the sun from their eyes. I'm wondering if this just represents that they're going to be looking for, how do I reach out? How do I reach out to Virgo? Which opening line do I use? Not saying it'll be a line, but how do I, we have the Chariot. This could be more than an opening line, although I usually think of Swords as like our communication and our thoughts. But this is them physically trying to figure out where is Virgo maybe located, because the Chariot can be, I need to go ahead and figure out how to go see Virgo face to face. It's time. We see two clocks, one on either side with the doorway in the middle. This person, I'm just going to say they're coming home. But I mean that Virgo is kind of maybe always been their destination. How did they know Virgo? Can I see anything about that? How did they know Virgo? Seven of Coins for quite a while. Judgment card. Quite a while. We've got this compass here. We've got see no, hear no, speak no evil, little monkeys down here. We've got the dice all over the place. But if they intentionally avoided, because I don't even think this person has been talking to Virgo or anything. I think that this has been one of those situations where it's I don't want to mess things up with Virgo. I don't feel, even with the Judgment card, I don't feel like this person has tried a relationship with Virgo and botched it and then ran off and hid for 7 years. I don't see it like this. I see it as they intentionally avoided that because they didn't want to blow it with Virgo. There's something about they had to work out some problems within themselves first before they were going to gravitate toward Virgo. My impression is a little bit more sometimes we meet people in work environments, who knows, if Virgo worked at a place, they were a patron of the business. Maybe they thought a lot about trying to develop a little bit more of a relationship. I mean, they obviously had to have been attracted to Virgo a long time ago. In fact, let's ask that. Before that Seven of Coins, when you first met Virgo, what was your interaction with Virgo? Ten of Swords. Don't mess this one up. Don't mess this one up. They might have met Virgo or encountered Virgo when they were in a really heavy, dark place. Yeah, Five of Cups. Tremendous sorrow, tremendous loss, tremendous I feel like they were fairly lost. What did you think of Virgo at that point? The World and the High Priest, it's like they knew even then, like someday, intuitively, Virgo represents my new beginning. Right now, I am at the bottom of the barrel. Right now, I am tarnished and trashed. Right now, I really feel like they were probably not at their best because they'd had a significant loss in their life. But they knew, right? Whenever they met Virgo, however they came across Virgo, found Virgo, it was like Virgo represents a new beginning for me. Virgo might have been like a light in the darkness for them all this time, but they did not move toward Virgo. It's like Virgo's always been the, when I'm ready, that will be what I gravitate toward. But right now I got to deal with this kind of, the shadows in my soul at the moment. Yeah, Knight of Wands. They wanted Virgo then, but I think they kept that to themselves. This person might have thought a lot about reaching out to Virgo, trying to flirt with Virgo, and instead I think that they knew better than to do that. I think they watched more from the shadows. They've lusted after Virgo for a really long time. Ace of Wands, and they did not show their face. Both of these cards say, I hid in the shadows, because if I pull this card back, you can see little eyes, but you can't really see much else, right? You see a little lightning, you see little flashes, but you don't really get to see much of our little hungry werewolf here. And here, I didn't do this to the card. They scratched out the face. This is the Ace of Wands. This is somebody with big passion, but they're like, I'm not going to do that. I think they like muted the look in their eyes. If they met Virgos, talked to Virgo on a more like frequent basis, say they did interact with Virgo face to face because of, business stuff, being in the same community, perhaps. This could have also just been online spying, but they made sure that Virgo doesn't know or didn't know kind of what was really on their mind. It's a good thing that they didn't like disrespect Virgo by trying to come toward Virgo, because when you're like this, you're in the middle of a Ten of Swords and a Five of Cups. They were respectful enough to say, I'm not about to use Virgo as a crutch to try to patch me up right now. Virgo is an amazing future for me, but right now, no. So even if I'm real hungry for Virgo, I'm not about to go botch this by coming into their life trying to get something from them. No way. Good for them for being mindful enough about that. And now you've done what you needed to. You got yourself ironed out. How do you feel about Virgo now? Two of Cups. Hot damn. Ace of Swords sideways. So it's become more clear to them. This is somebody who's worked through their own stuff quietly and away from Virgo. This is somebody who did not botch things with Virgo. They didn't try to date Virgo. They didn't try to sleep with Virgo. But over time, instead of like either forgetting about Virgo or going off in a whole different direction, or just using like inspiration from Virgo to patch themselves up, they've actually developed deeper emotions and they've sifted through. They know how important Virgo is. This is why they already know Virgo is the person I'm going to marry. I kind of think they knew it from the beginning, but at this phase in their life, it's like, oh, this is a really sacred relationship that isn't even a relationship yet. I know this is going to be hard for them to explain, and even they don't know how to explain this with the Ace of Swords sideways. How am I going to say this? Virgo, hi. I know I never dated you. I know you probably don't know that I've kind of kept tabs on you, but I didn't come towards you because I wasn't about to wreck something when I already knew you were important to me. So although you know none of what's happened in my head, I think we're Two of Cups, and I'm quite certain that we'll be getting married because you're the person I've wanted to marry for a long time. Like how are they going to lead with that, right? Even if that's maybe what they wish they could say, we can see they're like, hold your tongue, do not say that. I can see why. This person has done like a lot of living, a lot of life story, while Virgo wasn't even a part of their life, but Virgo was up here, which to me just speaks very much of how, and I do believe that this is true. I think that people can impact us, influence us, and touch our hearts without them even being side by side. I think that's maybe what the magic of like love actually is. You don't love somebody just because they're near you, or fall out of love with them because they're not near you. When you love somebody, it's something different. It lives in your heart, no matter where you are, no matter the distance, no matter the time. None of those things really change the fact that you can love somebody and that they have an impact on you, even if you're not, waking up next to them, you're not living in the same state as them, you're not in the same country as them, you're not seeing them, you're not even interacting with them on some intimate daily basis. When you love somebody, love is just a whole different thing, where it exists in like a parallel universe that you are in, no matter what, no matter where you go. And I think that's what this storyline is. I think this is describing they're ready to basically take, or maybe we should say, instead of parallel universe, maybe this is the 5D realm. And it's like, I've loved Virgo in the 5D all this time, but never. Oh, what's that song? My eyes adored you. Though I never laid a hand on you, my eyes adored you. And like a million miles away from me, you couldn't see how I adored you. So close, and yet so far away. That's probably the perfect song to describe that. But did Virgo know? Has Virgo known? For Virgo to have made such a huge impact on them, Page of Coins, I don't know that we have the light bulb overhead, but the Page of Coins, I mean, I feel like Virgo's like, oh, I know that person. Yeah, every time that I did interact with them, however insignificantly or briefly, oh yeah, they're really great. 3 of Wands. Okay, so somehow, some way, what I would say is that this is 2 people. And let me just give a scenario. Sometimes you could be, let's say you're on like a huge, like metro train. And as the train pulls up to a platform and it's slowing down, you lock eyes with somebody in a train. And and they know interest has been piqued. The train keeps going by. That's not even the train you're waiting on. You don't get on that train. And you go, out of all the faces, out of all the people, and there's hundreds and thousands of people that you see every day if you ride the trains, right? Where I'm thinking like a big city, say big area, say New York. It doesn't matter. You will remember that person's face. And if you see them at some other function 10 months later, 3 years later, say you're whatever in a crowded grocery store, you're at some event, and you glance across and you see that face again, they see you, you will still remember that person's face, because people who stand out to each other stand out to each other. There isn't any rhyme or reason to it. It's just, some people stand out. It doesn't happen all the time. When it does, you assume there's a reason for it. That's what I feel this story is. So it's very hard to describe, because it's the unusual. It's the Virgo, something lit up in Virgo's mind too. Something here with that compass. It's like Virgo knew, I'll see them again. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, this is just a page's amount of energy. I've had almost no interaction with them. Maybe a pleasantry, maybe a hello. But I'm not surprised at all to hear that person will be a part of my future, because I already knew that. So this is a very uncanny story, because I don't know how else to describe it. It just is what it is. So we have the Strength card. Virgo apparently has learned to be calm and not doubt what they know to be true. Now, part of this also is, our life is what we make of it, right? The future is not written. We write that through our own actions and what we desire. And I do feel like Virgo's not like living every day wondering, okay, how many days more before I, bump into this person. I don't feel like Virgo lives their life that way, but I do feel like Virgo knows there must have been some strong something or other. This person, there's no clamoring, no stress, no like, I need to see them. When will this storyline play out? It's more just like, look, I know what I know, and I'll probably encounter them again. I kind of think that the vibe has strengthened over time for Virgo, but at the same time, Virgo has strengthened their sense of peace and their kind of like enjoyment of living their life and, building the future that they want to have. But there is certainly an awareness Because when I'm saying, did Virgo notice them? Yes. However minimal the interaction was, Virgo already had a sense, yeah, somehow I'll see them again. I don't know how, but I have a real strong sense that I will. This is pretty awesome. Of course, we have the infinity symbol over our lioness's head. Virgo could be a Virgo Leo cusper, by the way. Let me just get one more for Virgo. Two of Swords. I love this card because we have somebody holding their heart and their mind. And it's like, I don't know which part of myself tells me these things. I kind of feel like Virgo might be a psychic and doesn't know how to explain that. Because this gives me like, oh gosh, what's his face? Luke Skywalker vibes, use the force. I'm almost wondering if Virgo's a little tapped in and they're like, I can't quite say how I know certain things. I don't know if it comes from my heart. I don't know if it comes from my logical mind. In fact, neither one of them is quite what I think this is, but it's almost like it's another sense altogether. That's why we have Virgo like, okay, let me not use my eyes. Let me not use my heart. Let me not use my mind. Maybe it's because it's a different kind of sense. Now, remember, they saw Virgo as a Two of Cups. Maybe this is like a very spiritual, very past life connection. Maybe that's why it's so hard for me to find the right words to describe this kind of story that isn't really a story yet. But this is a really special one for sure. It has been, and I'm not saying Virgo's waiting and living their life waiting for the moment that this comes along. Virgo's actually quite a bit more chill about this, but kind of just as aware of them. It's like if you were sitting with a blindfold on and then somebody came and sat in a chair next to you, you could probably sense them. Maybe you could smell them. Maybe you could sense that there's, body warmth. We're living creatures that, give off body heat. But then there's also just energy, sensing that someone is around. Animals have a way better sense that there's other life forms around them. But I'm thinking that this is something where two people can sense each other from great distances. They're not sitting side by side. They may not be in the same, town, the same province, the same country. So this is more like when you think of somebody's energy field that doesn't really just extend from like, the distance that our body heat could extend to, but more the way thoughts or connection of, like, we'll say spiritual energy, or maybe the soul's energy can connect across time and space. That's what Virgo's got with this person. And there's an awareness that it's there. It's not like overwhelming or overpowering, but Virgo is tapped into it also. There's just, like I say, a disturbance in the force. But I feel like Virgo's like, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to think too much about it or try to answer it because I don't know that I could answer it. I only know that it's there and I feel it pretty strong. I'm going to see this person again. I think that's enough. I think we'll leave that there because much of what comes next is dependent upon them gravitating toward Virgo. It's their move. Virgo's aware of them. Maybe Virgo's aware of a lot of different people, though, in that same way. But this is a connection where this person will be gravitating toward Virgo. And it is, remember, they have the Hierophant. It's because they have a very solid belief that this is right for them. So they're the ones in the action taking. Now, we did have Taurus for them. We did have Gemini for them. We also had Cancer for them and Scorpio for them. So just FYI. All right, you guys, really good to see everybody. Robert Bruce, how are you? Thank you for being here tonight. Hi, Kimmy. You wrote to tell me that you're disgusted? Oh, you're glad. Yeah, well, Kimmy, I don't get to pick the cards, hon. I just whatever the storyline is, you know, our characters we get whatever pops out. So I just read whatever the storylines are, good, bad, or ugly. You know, I just feel like you know, not all stories are happy. It's all fiction. I understand, you know, everybody resonates with different things a little here and there, but um good for you for growing beyond whatever. But yeah, I just will continue to tell whatever stories I see, regardless of whether or not they're happy or not, because I don't get to pick that, considering that the cards just pop out. So anyway, yeah, Ruben, great to see you. Hi, Katie D. Shout out to you in South Africa. Thank you so much for being here. So great to see you. Genesis Harvest. Hey, hey. Hey, Sabrina. Oh, Yale. Thank you so much. Aries says hello right back. Moonlight Shadow. Dine's Place. I love that. You're a dreamer. I love that. Thank you, Moonlight Shadow. Dana Knight. Hey, how are you? The Night Dragon sneaks in again. I love that. Julia Tolliver. Nick, shout out to you in Australia. I love to know where everybody's from. It just makes the world a much friendlier place. I am such a big traveler, and I love to hear where everybody's from. That makes me so happy. Oh, Dine's Place, another heat wave in New England. Yeah, I'm a West Coaster, and it's real hot where I am too. Yes, definitely. In fact, I feel kind of melted. Like, you know, by the time I got back tonight, I was like, oh my gosh. And Aries was just melted, and I was melted. And yeah, I feel like most of my makeup is off. Atar Axia, great to see you. Love that deep blue night thoughts. That's beautiful. Eskar, hi honey. Hi Tina. Just me, Fallen Raven. Thank you again, Carrie B for me. Oh, you're in Puerto Vallarta. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I misread it. I thought you were in Puerto Rico. That's awesome. Thank you, Angelina Davina, RT and Jem, Taylor Beard, Nani, Pam Jam again. You were first in the house tonight. So great to catch you. And AC, you were second in the house. All right, everybody. Yeah, Ruben, thank you again, love. Wonder T, hi. Thank you, Atar Axia. Shout out to you in Netherlands. That's awesome. All right, you guys. Lots of love, you guys. I will see you again. We're going to go into some of the next videos. I'm going to do as many more as might have brain cells for, but I think I really want to get to Taurus, to Aries. We still have Scorpio, Gemini, and Ophiuchus. I think that's who we're missing. So I would like to get us all cut up. So that's my attempt for tonight. All right, you guys, lots of love. I'll see you again real quick. Bye.